What's up, everyone? Tera Roberts here with Fantasy Alarm, and we are talking DFS bargains for Week 7. Matt Ryan is coming off a huge game with 42 completions on 58 attempts for 389 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor is on track to play this week, so 58 attempts is very unlikely, but Matt Ryan has actually been a high-volume passer this season. Ryan is second in total pass yards behind only Josh Allen, and third in attempts. The Colts are playing a Titans team that has struggled against the pass and allowed the 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. With these two teams playing in their second matchup, the first matchup was in Week 4. Ryan completed 27 of 37 attempts for 356 yards and 2 touchdowns. At only $5,400 on DraftKings, Ryan is a great bargain. At running back, contingent on J.K. Dobbins not playing, Kenyan Drake is a solid bargain at just $5,100 on DraftKings. Buyer beware. Justice Hill could be returning to action this week and could fall into the lead back role. Prior to his injury, Hill was operating as the second back behind J.K. Dobbins, so I feel a bit uncomfortable with Drake as a cash play, but considering he will be likely very low owned, is facing a Cleveland team that has allowed the 3rd most fantasy points to running back, and he is coming off a game with 10 carries for 119 yards and a touchdown. That is a fantastic combination to take a gamble on in GPP. Another option is Sony Michel. This may seem a bit strange because Austin Eckler is healthy and on fire, but go with me on this one. Joshua Kelly is unlikely to play this week. That means Sony Michel will operate as the primary backup. And so far this season, it's been very common for the Chargers to give valuable carries to the backups. And despite last week's botched attempt by Arizona, the Seahawks defense has been extremely weak against the run. Expect a big day from Eckler, and for Sony Michel, around 10 carries and possibly some goal line opportunities that could yield solid results at just $4,800 on DraftKings. If you want to get risky, you could go with the Panthers' new lead running back, Foreman. This is risky because it's a bad matchup as the Panthers play Tampa Bay, and the Bucs can simply focus on stopping the run because the likelihood of PJ Walker beating them through the air is slim to none. So we would likely need a touchdown to see good return out of Foreman, but at minimum pricing on DraftKings, it's not the worst move in the world. At wide receiver, let's start off with Alec Pierce. Despite a fantastic game from Paris Campbell last week, I still see Alec Pierce as the clear wide receiver 2 for the Colts. Pierce has had 3 weeks in a row with double-digit PPR fantasy points and caught his first touchdown of the year on Sunday. He is a consistent, safe option that you can pair with Matt Ryan in that fantastic matchup against Tennessee. I also like Wan'Dale Robinson this week. Robinson had 3 receptions on 4 targets for 37 yards and a touchdown last week, and while it wasn't a huge game, it was solid output on just 23% snap count. There is no leading presence within the Giants wide receiver core, and Robinson should continue to push towards being the wide receiver 1. He's a very dynamic player that has big play threat and is perfectly priced to pay off with just 1 big play. And the lowest price option that I'll give you this week is Nico Collins at just $4,200 on DraftKings. This is very matchup based for me. The Raiders have struggled against wide receivers. Even receivers who have struggled all season long have had some of their best games against the Raiders. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Mecole Hardman, Jerry Jeudy, Robert Woods. Collins has had double-digit fantasy points 2 weeks in a row, and this seems like a good matchup where he could possibly have a breakout game. Maybe this is it. And at tight end, Greg Dulcich is still minimum pricing on DraftKings. In his first NFL game ever, Dulcich played 71% of snaps and caught 2 of his 3 targets for 44 yards and a touchdown. It was a fantastic debut for a rookie that was on track to compete as the tight end 1 before his preseason injury. Denver's matchup is tough, and Russell Wilson is dealing with a variety of injuries. But Dulcich is an excellent value, and I expect him to continue to operate as the Broncos' tight end 1. Another very low-priced option is Cade Otton at just $2,700 on DraftKings. Cameron Brate is unlikely to play, and we've seen Otton step in and produce when Brate is out. In Week 5, Otton had 6 receptions on 7 targets for 43 yards. The Panthers have done fairly well against tight ends, but this is a volume and opportunity play. Tampa Bay should dominate time of possession, and pass volume should be high enough for Otton to put up solid numbers. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to Fantasy Alarm, and come back next week for another round of DFS bargains.